Awesome. Thank you, Cody. And thank you all for hopping in. This is going to be more of a bird's eye view and an update on some of our variety testing um, projects that we have going on at HPAL and across the state. And I'll go ahead if I can. Just as a reminder, in 2019, the program was relocated to HPAL. We do, however, have a wide based team. We have, I'm based here at HPAL, Cody is up at Scottsbluff. Dr. Brian Mouse still maintains a lot of the trials out east. So that's basically from about Alma all the way to the state line. And then Stefan and Bill help here at HPAL. And of course, we have a number of student workers, undergraduates and graduate students that come and help us as well. Mostly what I wanted to do with this talk is go over just how variety testing works and try to answer some of the questions that folks have brought up to us. And we start out by selecting field sites and selecting numbers and areas of interest. So below you can see the winter wheat test form that we send out to companies. We obviously have front loaded a lot of our wheat testing on the western end of the state to reflect the acreage. We also have testing in corn, in grain sorghum, and spring wheat. And with that, companies are the ones that get to select the entries in the tests, as well as breeders and researchers if they're interested. And they are also the ones who pay for the tests. So we use the fees that are based on the number of entries and sites to fund this testing program. Our team works at the locations that we're going to test, and a number of our cooperators are on this call right now, and we love getting to work with those farmers to find good spots for the trials and ones that we can access easily for field days, and so folks can see the varieties being grown in the field. Before planting, on the seed that we collect, we record kernel weight, germination information, and then if, particularly for wheat, if the seed comes to us and is not treated, we apply a standard seed treatment so that everything is treated equally. Likewise, we have transitioned and we package all of our seeds on a seeds per acre basis. Earlier, folks had brought up that there are varietal differences in wheat for seeding rates, and so we feel that it's most appropriate, especially given the interest for farmers to plant on a seeds per acre basis rather than a pounds per acre basis, that we're giving everyone a fair shake by doing it this way. On the left-hand side, we have our research drill out in action, and this is a no-till drill that we built this year, so it's a big upgrade for our program. And it allows us to plant in a variety of conditions. We can adjust our row spacing, and then we also have coulters available that allow us to apply starter fertilizer. For each of our testing locations, we plant based on the conditions and the recommended rates, recommended dates. And then both at planting and throughout the season, we collect data, and that's on individual plots. You can see Maria on the far right photo out collecting data, I believe in Chris Cullen's field this summer. And then we also collect a lot of metadata that we try to incorporate for, you know, what were the overall weather conditions during the year, what were the conditions at seeding, where was the soil moisture, etc. As probably some of you have seen, we have a specialized plot combine that we bring out, and we use that to harvest each individual plot and collect data on the weight, test weight, and moisture. And then we use that to scale up for yield, and we pull grain samples that we can test for other traits. So one of the other updates to our program, as you see in this photo, is that we were able to get an NIR machine to test for grain protein, and we can now do that in-house at HPAL. That was key to us because it allows us to get this data out so much quicker to our producers, because we know that there's a tight time frame between when we pull our wheat out of the field and when we have to turn right around and plant it. We also have been working to streamline processes by using barcoding, standardizing our data collection process, the way we format data and store it. And then after all of this is collected, I pull this data together, look at it overall, make sure there's no errors in the data, and then analyze it and put the summaries and seed guides out. And that process is a collaborative effort. Cody and Dr. Moust and I work together and rely pretty heavily on Dr. Moust to get that seed guide out. If you're not familiar with it, the best place to start getting this data, and it's posted here on this website as soon as the analysis is run for each site. So this is updated almost daily during wheat harvest, is to go to cropwatch.unl.variety test, and you can select winter wheat or spring wheat or other crops, and then filter down by your county or region of interest. One thing that we always support is, particularly for wheat, and given the volatility in year-to-year variation, whenever possible, try to look not only at the data for your individual county or region, but pull up the regional and 2 and 3 year averages. The average data kind of gives you more of a trend that you can expect over time. It's more reliable, and it doesn't have quite as great of fluctuations as you can see in single year data. So again, in the 2 year average for the Panhandle, we saw a number of really good varieties with reasonable average yield for rain fed. One of those in particular, you see Spur is one of the solid stems that has come onto the market in recent years. But again, using that 2 year average gives you a lot better estimate of what you can expect rather than what we saw in just a single time point. And then coming soon, some of you may have seen this already as well, we are working on translating all of our variety test data for the wheat into a new online platform that allows us and other stakeholders to look at data in more of a customized fashion. So the way we've posted the data in the past are these static tables that we're all familiar with. They're filtered by yield. If you wanted to look at the 2 year, 3 year averages or compare across it, you end up opening a lot of tabs on your web browser or flipping through a bunch of pages in a book. Here, this app that's currently in its beta stage allows the user to pick a starting point and an end point. So you can look at 2 year averages, you can look at 10 year averages. It allows you to filter by varieties. If you're just interested in 1 or 2 varieties, you can type the name in there and look at that performance over time, and then also select based on cultural practices and regions. The data comes out looking like this. So it's a customized report based on the filtering you've done. And then the key aspect for us, if you can see my cursor, is in the past, we've always filtered from highest to lowest yield. But we all know that that's not always what we're most interested in, or maybe we want to set a threshold and say, okay, my baseline yield is 55 bushels, but I really want to target protein. With this new web-based application, you can sort by yield or by test weight or protein or other traits of interest. And then following that, you can actually click on each individual variety name, and it'll give you some more details about other characteristics, disease packages, and so forth. And finally, one of the other things we've done to target it is for Nebraska varieties in particular, and a number of our growers and seedsmen in the area market our homegrown and home developed Nebraska wheats. We've placed this little N to make sure that folks know what's being developed by the breeders here at Nebraska. And with that, I want to thank again all of our farm cooperators, those who graciously share space with us and their input on how to make our program better. And if you have any questions, please always reach out to Cody or myself. We're we're happy to help. With that, any questions?